money in the pile. Once you get a little, they just want to take you down, cuz. I got the money.
Hello, and welcome to this episode of Spittin' Sports with Lamar. I am Casey Lamar, and I'm coming at you from the 256. To start off, I wanted to touch on a couple things. I am going to try to use videos again, but I will be doing picture in a picture, so you can see me while there's video playing. So it'll give you a visual aspect rather than just me talking the whole time, and you will have something to watch if you so choose. Another thing I wanted to bring up was I'm going to have Lamar's news and updates. So, like I talked about yesterday, the Open Championship being at a weird time since they're in Scotland. Tomorrow I will put out another video covering the leaderboards, just a quick update of the leaderboards and the times that I said tomorrow, but I meant today. I apologize. But I will cover today's leaderboard later this afternoon. And I will also give you the tee times for those same players or the players that are at the top of the leaderboard for Friday, tomorrow. And other things like today, the Kawhi Leonard and DeMar DeRozan trade. I would release, after that news comes out, I would release a video about it as soon as I could to get the information and post a video for you guys to check out. They will probably be a little bit shorter than these, I would say. They'll just be quick hits to mention what is going on. So I wouldn't expect those to be very long, but it's just something else to have for everybody to get quick updates, and then I will cover those in the following video the next morning for the regular Spittin' Sports series that I'm doing. But those won't be daily. They will be, it just depends on what's going on, to be honest. So I wouldn't say look for those daily, but those would also probably be only Monday through Friday. Maybe a couple of weekend videos if I have the time to do those. But with all that said, today we will cover the Eldora Dirt Derby. That'll be the first thing we touch on. Last night's truck race. Then we have to talk about the Kawhi Leonard, DeMar DeRozan trade. And also the Manny Machado was officially traded to the Dodgers yesterday as well. So we will cover that. And I will give some quick MLB predictions for the second half. But to start off, I'll start with the Eldora Dirt Derby. And I have that clip right here. Let me transition over for you. Yeah, should be showing the video. Let me get back over here. It tried to play the whole thing. And of course, pause, go back, and it won't go back. Hold on. So, of course, it was, if you watched the two trucks at the front, those were the two that battled it out for the win. Chase Briscoe on the inside in the 27, and his teammate, actually, Grant Enfinger, in the 98. The 27 is not a full-time racer in the series. The 98 is. So this could have been detrimental to the 98 championship hopes. But they had a green-white checkered fight, which means they just have a two-lap race to the end. They just have 2 laps to see who's going to win. Obviously, you can see the battle going on. Briscoe here, he ends up getting him at the line. Like I said, he's not a full-time driver. He's kind of a dirt specialist, which they have a lot of those come for this race specifically because of dirt racing. This is probably considered the biggest race in dirt racing because NASCAR actually came back to dirt and they ran on dirt. So, but Chase Briscoe ended up winning. it was Ford's first win in the event. This was the 6th annual truck race at Eldora, but it was Ford's first win in the event. But it is really cool to watch trucks. They're made for asphalt. They're made for paved road, and they get those things set up and put them on dirt, and they go out there and race, and it's just chaos. This one actually turned into quite the wreck fest, but there was still almost the whole field was out there. But they're just beating and banging and smashing the wall and spinning each other out, and it just turns into chaos a lot of times. But it's quite fun, even for a non-racing fan, just to see them get out there and slide those things around, and just the battles that go on the track are so much fun to watch. But like I said, Chase Briscoe, he came out the winner. Let's transition back to just me, and I will get the next videos set up for you. But like I said, Chase Briscoe won. Congratulations to him. Fun event to watch. I did watch it tonight. If you ever have the chance to watch it, obviously if you didn't tonight, if you ever have the chance to watch it, give it a look. I mean, look it up on YouTube, things like that, maybe. But we'll move on to the Kawhi Leonard, DeMar DeRozan trade. Let me pull this up to full screen. Pause it. All right, we'll transition for you. But yes, Kawhi Leonard, DeMar DeRozan, the Raptors, they got Kawhi Leonard and Danny Green, and the Spurs in return, they got DeMar DeRozan, Jakob Portal. So I tried to listen to him say it. It's a weird name. It's spelled weird. And the Spurs also got a protected first round pick, which if it's inside the top 20, I believe, this pick, it will not. They cannot use that pick, and it will turn into 2 second-round picks. But anyway, so Kawhi Leonard, Danny Green to the Raptors, DeRozan, the guy with the name I can't pronounce, and a protected first round back to the Spurs. But there was automatically controversy that came out with this, specifically related to Kawhi Leonard, because almost not long after they came out and said Leonard doesn't want to play there. He's the quietest superstar, if you want to call him that, in the league. He might even be quieter than Joe Johnson was when Joe Johnson was a top flight player in the league. But he's extremely quiet. Obviously, everything's behind closed doors. But the Raptors got somebody who's a top 5 player in the league when he's playing how you know he can play. We've seen him beat what was supposed to be the super heat and never be beaten in Dwayne Wade, LeBron James and Chris Bosh. But he ended up beating that team, not by himself, obviously, but he was the major player that set off that championship run there for the Spurs. But this is a lot like the Paul George situation, because he has 1 year left on his contract, so it's a 1-year rental. So the Raptors are tasked with trying to, like the Oklahoma City Thunder did with Paul George, trying to convince him not to leave. Obviously, everybody thought Paul George, in the situation that he was in this year, everybody thought he was going to LA. He wanted to. It was just automatically assumed he's signing with LA. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. But he shocked everybody. He shocked me. I thought there was no way he was going back to Oklahoma City. 100% going to the Lakers. LeBron ended up going there as well. But obviously, the George decision was made before LeBron. But you thought the Lakers were going to put together a team to possibly compete with the Warriors. But that did not happen. George stayed in OKC. But the Raptors are tasked with that. But with the reports saying that he doesn't even want to be there, I also saw an article, I believe it was on ESPN, saying that he could possibly just sit out. that causes problems, period, wherever he goes in free agency. Just the attitude, it seems like that's always been reported through this whole process is, personally, I would not want him to be my teammate. It doesn't seem like he cares. It's weird. But he doesn't say anything publicly. It's just all reports. It's really, really weird. But health is another issue. He played all of 9 games last year, I believe it was. It's really, 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 that is key. It is huge. It is a massive risk for the Raptors to go get Leonard, and just, I mean, obviously they're assuming he's going to get back to where he was before injuries last year, but huge risk. That they obviously it's not working with who they have there. That's why they fired the coach of the year this past season, and then they sent a guy. I'll talk about it in a second, but they sent a guy that stayed with them. But Leonard, I don't know. It's the reports that saying that he doesn't want to play, and the possibility of him saying possibility of just sitting out it's ridiculous. At this point, I just don't know where or what's up with him. But it's confusing. I understand why they did it. I don't like it though, because of everything surrounding it. DeMar DeRozan, he was another one of those players. He's going to LA. No way he's gonna stay in Toronto. He's going back. He played at USC. He's definitely going back to LA. But no, he shocked the world, much like Paul George did this offseason, and he re-signed with the Raptors, a team that he's been with from the start. He decided to stay. Again, I know why the Raptors did it. I understand, because they need to take that step. They need something to take that step. But DeRozan was very upset. He said, he came out and said, obviously there's no loyalty. They'll just they'll get rid of you for nothing, which I agree with. But they had reasons behind it. But after everything that's surrounding it, it's just a big messed up situation. I am happy that he went to the Spurs. The Spurs did make the playoffs last year with not much. Kawhi Leonard, them getting rid of Danny Green. Obviously DeRozan was going to be over him anyway, but him being gone is even more playing time. I just hope he's happy, ends up being happy that he's there. He's obviously very mad with the Raptors, and I don't blame him. I take his side on it. Fans didn't like it. He doesn't like it. Apparently Kawhi Leonard doesn't like it. He doesn't like the Spurs. He doesn't like the Raptors. At this point, I would question him as a teammate. But that's just me. It's a confusing situation because he never publicly talks, Leonard, that is. But I'm happy for DeRozan because he goes to a coach in a franchise that is, I mean, it's the Spurs. We all know who the Spurs are. But like I said, it's weird. I believe that's all I want to say about that. Yeah, well, we will move on from that. I'll go ahead and pause this video. I'll close it down. And we will get into Manny Machado. Manny Machado is officially a Dodger now. Which, that team, they were already World Series caliber. But they turned around and they did this now. But in return, the Orioles they got 5 prospects from the Dodgers. They got an outfielder by the name of Yusniel Diaz. I think that's how you say it. Yusniel Diaz. They got a right-handed pitcher in Dean Kramer. They got a third baseman in Rylan Bannon. another right-hander in Zach Pop, and then a third baseman of Brevich Valera. My thoughts on it are, I wish somebody else would have got Machado. I wish Atlanta would have tried to go after him harder, but they're comfortable with Margot on the hot corner. It seems like in Dansby, he's doing well enough. Obviously, the right side of the Braves infield is solid, but Manny's going to be shortstop or third base. I wish Milwaukee probably would have tried to get him. They could use a stud in the infield. The Phillies were the closest team, it seems like, besides the Dodgers, to getting Machado here. But I wish some of the smaller teams, obviously Philly, they're a pretty big market. But as far as signing the checkbook that they have, he ended up the rich got richer. The Dodgers ended up getting Manny Machado. So I think, which I'll get into this in a second, that puts them at the top of the National League. I know it's just one player, but they're already leading their division. They're already within 3 games of the top of the National League. The National League is pretty much wide open. There's about 8 or 9 teams that could still make the playoffs. There might even be more than that. There might be 10 teams. It's wide open. But that puts the Dodgers head and shoulders, in my opinion, in the National League as a whole, not just the West. But we finally find out where Machado goes. He's tearing the cover off the ball. This is the best season he's ever had. But he is a half-season rental. But that's all you need sometimes to win a World Series. And this is a team that could. Oh, this is a team that could re-sign him. They have the pockets. They one of the top payrolls in the league, like the Yankees and the Red Sox, the Dodgers. They can pay for those people. But we will move on to my predictions for the second half of the MLB season. What's going to happen? These will just be my playoff and division winners, or the division winners. What seed I think they will be in the playoffs, and the wild card winners, of course. But for the playoffs, or for the American League East, we'll start with that. Division winners and wild card winners. I have the Red Sox winning the East. The Cleveland Indians winning the Central. There's just not much competition for them there, and they're not doing all that hot right now. But they're getting better. And then the West, the defending world champions, the Astros. And then the wild cards, the Yankees. The Yankees are probably the second best team in the American League. Or the 3 of them, you could pretty much throw the 3 of them around: the Red Sox, Astros, Yankees, in any kind of order. Those they will make the playoffs. Those 3 are going to make the playoffs. The Red Sox and Yankees, whichever one doesn't win the East, the other one's going to get one of the wild card spots. And then I have the Mariners taking the second wild card in the American League. I think they can hold it together and get back in the playoffs. The National League is where I kind of shake it up a little bit. Or I think it's going to shake up a little bit. The East, I think I think the Braves retake control and eventually win the East. I think Milwaukee, their bullpen carried them through the first half. The offense has been where they've normally been good, and the pitching has been bad. But this year, the pitching has carried them, and the offense has been very good. But I think the Brewers, the offense finally wakes up. They will also be getting some pitching help back. Jimmy Nelson, he's a great player, so obviously you never want anybody to get injured. Hope he can come back healthy and do well for them. But I think the Brewers come back and win the Central. The West, I already gave that away. The Dodgers. The Dodgers are winning the West. The wild cards, I do think the Cubs will win the wild card, and I think the Nationals get their act together enough to get into the playoffs. As far as seeding goes, the American League, I think the Red Sox will be the 1. The Astros will be the 2. And then the Indians, by default, for winning their division, they will be the 3. The Yankees win the first wild card spot. They're at 4, and then the Mariners get the last spot in the American League. They will be at 5. The National League Dodgers, I think it's the Dodgers, just because, like I said, one player, but they're already World Series caliber, and they just added somebody who's having the best season that they've ever had, and he's going to be one of the highest paid players ever. Obviously, that's going to grow, but he's going to get a ridiculous contract. Manny Machado sparks them all the way to the top of the National League. The 2 seed, it's pretty much a toss-up, but I think Milwaukee gets the 2 seed. The 3 seed will be the Braves, because I said those were my winners. The Cubs will be the 4, and the Nationals sneak in as the 5. Honestly, I think it'll come down between division rivals and the Nationals and Phillies fighting it out all the way till the very, very end. But I think the Nationals come out on top. And we finally get baseball back tonight. The Cardinals are at the Cubs. Carlos Martinez is pitching for the Cardinals. Kyle Hendricks for the Cubs. And just because it's just one game, I'm going to take the Cardinals in that game tonight. But that's all I wanted to talk about today. Tomorrow, I will talk about the matchups, the series, the MLB series, the weekend series for who's playing who, the matchups for the weekend. There, I finally figured it out in my head. The matchups for the weekend series as we get the second half started. I'll also touch on the Open, but like I said earlier, I will have the midday, mid-afternoon update to let everybody know about where the leaderboard sits, who's where, tee times for Friday for the leaders and some of the big name people as well. Which I did see a video. Tiger Woods, it seems like he's locked in some sort of zone. I saw it was a funny video somebody sent me. He seems like he's locked in some sort of zone. People were wanting autographs, and he just parted the seas. He just literally walked through them and pushed them out of the way. So maybe he'll be a surprise. But anyway, we'll talk about that, obviously, as the weekend goes on. Touch on the Open. NASCAR, I will just touch on where NASCAR is at. Race times for Saturday and Sunday. I will touch on that tomorrow as well. The midday update, I will start that tomorrow. But the midday update, like I said, I am doing it because the Open, that gives me something to do it with. It gives me something to practice with. But don't expect those daily, but they could very well turn into a daily thing. But that's where I'm going to end it. If you enjoyed this, please like, share, and subscribe. If you do subscribe, don't forget to click that little bell next to that subscribe button so you get a notification whenever I do post a new video. And that's been it. This has been Spittin' Sports with Lamar. I am Casey Lamar, and I look forward to talking to you all again later today and tomorrow morning on the next edition of Spittin' Sports. See y'all later.